good afternoon, wherever you are when you see this video. It is July 23rd, 2025. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me, Dorothea, on the Orthodox Christian Lens. My cat is with me today in my lap because she had basically oral surgery. A bunch of her teeth had to be removed, and she's not even that old. But she was a Humane Society kitty, so we don't know what happened to her before she was put in there when we got her. But a lot of her teeth were not doing well. There were a few abscess ones, so she's kind of here with me, and obviously you can hear her. And she also wanted to eat a bunch, but we only were allowed to give her a little bit to eat. Well, she's just gone to her favorite hammock position in front of the window. Anyway, just wanted to share that, I guess. In any case, I have 3 stories for you today, and we're going to start with this one. Iran-Russia defense chiefs discuss strengthening cooperation. The Iranian and Russian defense chiefs have discussed strengthening bilateral cooperation in defense and military affairs, Iran's ambassador to Moscow, Kazim Jalali, says. He said Iranian Defense Minister Brigadier General Aziz Nazarzadeh and his Russian counterpart, Andrei Belousov, met in Moscow on Monday. Jalali said the meeting focused on reinforcing bilateral cooperation in the defense and military fields. The diplomat noted that the Iranian minister also attended the July 20 meeting in Moscow between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ali, I guess that's how you say it, Larehani, a senior advisor to leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Larehani conveyed assessments of the escalating situation in the Middle East and around the Iranian nuclear program. He said the Russian president had expressed Moscow's well-known positions on how to stabilize the situation in the region and on the political settlement of the Iranian nuclear program. Iran and Russia, both subject to illegal Western sanctions, have over the past years deepened their relations in a range of areas. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, having a real hard time with these names, and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin signed the Strategic Partnership Treaty together. During a ceremony at the Kremlin on January 17th, on April 21st, Putin officially ratified the landmark pact. A month later, the Iranian parliament approved the agreement that includes defense cooperation, the fight against terrorism, collaboration in the energy and industrial sectors, financial integration, transportation, infrastructure development, agricultural partnership, and exchanges in the areas of culture, science, and technology. Russia has also condemned the recent Israeli-U.S. acts of aggression against the Islamic Republic, which led to the killing of many high-ranking military commanders, nuclear science, and ordinary civilians. So, they've signed a pact to work together on defense. That's very important. Very important, but interesting to see for sure. Now I'm going to share something very interesting. I did a story yesterday on the nukes being moved, that thermonuclear bomb from New Mexico, the United States, to the UK. They have these underground vaults now for these nukes. So here's what happened now. According to Hindustan Times, they said as U.S. nuclear bomb movements gets leaked, Russia's big move. Putin's army move stuns Trump, and amid big fail by NATO militaries, U.S. placing nuke on British soil leaked accidentally by budget papers? Question mark again. Russian Navy takes over waters near UK for 4-day intense drills. Hundreds of warships and jets to participate in July storm drills. Russian Navy to hold anti-submarine ops, mock defend areas of deployment. Russia began Navy drills in Arctic and Pacific Oceans amid reports of U.S. nukes in UK. Things are really heating up. The drills involve over 150 ships, 15,000 military personnel. Reuters is citing Russian government. Wow, 15,000 military personnel and that many. July storm will run from 23rd to 27th July, testing readiness of fleet for non-standard op. Drills will also test use of long-range weapons, other advanced techs. Additionally, 120 aircraft coastal defense systems will be part of drills, per reports. Russia's first response to U.S. nuke movement. Oops, kitty's doing stuff, sorry. The July Storm naval operative exercise will be held in the waters of the Pacific and the Arctic Oceans, the Baltic and the Caspian Seas, involving the Northern Pacific and Baltic fleets, as well as the Caspian flotilla. At sea, the crews of the ships will practice deployment to combat areas, conducting anti-submarine operations, defending areas of deployment, and economic activity. They will also practice repelling attacks by air attack weapons, unmanned boats, and enemy drones, ensuring the safety of navigation, striking enemy targets and naval groups. The drills come as reports of U.S. redeploying nukes in UK surfaced. I wonder who leaked that. The U.S. has deployed nukes in UK for the first time since 2008. American nuclear warheads are reportedly stored at RAF Lakenheath in Suffolk. Earlier, the Telegraph detailed an upcoming nuclear mission at Lakenheath. The Telegraph cited unclassified docs that were accidentally published by U.S. government. Accidentally. I don't know about that. However, neither the British nor American governments have officially confirmed reports. Anti-nuke campaigners have reportedly called on UK Prime Minister to inform Parliament on US nukes. Russia has warned in the past that escalation near its borders won't go unanswered. Amid Ukraine war, Russia has also placed nukes on ally Belarus's territory. I said a little bit of this yesterday. Moscow has claimed one of the reasons for its Ukraine invasion has been NATO expansion, yes. Russia's drills in Arctic and Pacific, U.S. reported move came amid war tensions. U.S. has given Russia a 50-day deadline to agree to a Ukraine truce or face sanctions. However, so far Russia has shown little interest in agreeing to a quick ceasefire. As we all know, they've never agreed to that, so I don't know why they would have now. Okay, so we got caught up on that one. I like these little quick news stories. Thanks for Hindustan Times for their interesting way of doing the news. Now I'm going to add this, since I was just talking about Iran and Russia working together. Putin sends warships to Iran. Russia sends warships to Iran in rare move. This is Times of India reporting this. Putin's naval forces unite with Iranians. Israel-U.S. watch as Russia-Iran bonhomie peaks. Iran to showcase its full naval force with Russia. Iran and Russia have started bringing their naval forces for a major joint drill, as we were just discussing in the other video. The joint Russian-Iranian exercise is named together for a safe and secure Caspian Sea. Press TV reported a Russian warship has arrived at Iran's Anzali port. So there's already one there. Press TV is the Iranian television channel. The Russian vessel has reportedly docked at this designated exercise zone. Obviously, they're preparing for something big. The 3-day exercise will be hosted by Northern Fleet of Islamic Republic of Iran's Navy. Iran will represent full breadth of the country's naval defense apparatus. Military observers from other Caspian littoral states will also be in attendance. The military exercise comes as Iran's standoff with U.S. and Israel intensifies. U.S. and Israel have ramped up pressure on Iran over its advancing nuclear program. Iran has reached out to its ally Russia to counter the pressure from the West. Top advisor of Iranian Supreme Leader met Russian president in Moscow last week. Surprise meeting was held to discuss Tehran's nuclear program, as per Associated Press. Fascinating. Wow, amazing information here. We definitely have these alliances coming together. An alliance here, and we already know the West alliances. One more report to share with you. Iran, Russia, China agree to expand nuclear coordination in Tehran meeting. Okay, another important thing here. The talks in Tehran focused on resisting Western pressure as Iran prepares to meet with European powers in Istanbul over sanctions threats. Iran hosted a high-level tripartite meeting on 22 July with official delegations from Russia and China to discuss the nuclear file and the lifting of Western sanctions, according to this particular agency. The discussions held under the auspices of Iran's foreign ministry addressed the latest developments in the nuclear negotiations and efforts to lift sanctions imposed on Iran, the semi-official news agency said. All three parties reaffirmed their commitment to maintaining close coordination and exchanging views on issues related to the nuclear agreement, with emphasis on continued consultations to counter Western policies, particularly U.S. sanctions. Delegates agreed to maintain open coordination channels and to convene again at multiple levels in the coming weeks. The statement described these plans as joint efforts to support regional stability and enhance strategic cooperation. Yes, with all the chaos they're trying to sow out there in the West and the Middle East, the West is trying to do to the Middle East. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister for Legal and International Affairs, Kazim Garibabadi, said that Iran's upcoming meeting with the European Troika in Istanbul will include a review of Iran's position on activating the trigger mechanism alongside discussion of possible solutions to outstanding issues and how to manage the current situation. This person reiterated that activating the trigger mechanism is entirely illegal, adding that Other parties have no legal justification for doing so. The Istanbul meeting, scheduled for Friday, will be held at the level of deputy foreign ministers from Iran, the UK, France, and Germany. Iranian foreign minister spokesman Ismail Baghi confirmed on 22 July. The talks follow recent threats from the three European governments saying Iran's failure to resume nuclear negotiations will result in the reimposition of international sanctions. So, there you go. As I said, they're forming this alliance for stabilizing the Middle East. And things are really heating up for sure. This is important news with what's going on with those warships and apparently jets somewhere. But they're doing joint drills and exercises. Not too far, apparently. One of them is not too far from the UK. But there's also the one that went to the port in Iran, the Russian warship. They are obviously preparing for something pretty big. As we know, there's a few next World War III events coming that we, as we said, are looking for, which was the West is going to remove Erdogan because obviously the conflict between Israel and Turkey with regard to Syria is going to be, they're going to clash on that. That's going to be a contentious issue. So I see why Mossad wants to get rid of the puppet, well, the terrorist that's in as the president right now, which I think is under Turkey's watch. But in any case, that's going to be coming about. We have the second round of strikes probably between Israel, U.S., and Iran. And I read that the other day that next portion is going to have a port. I forget where, but there's going to be Americans actually in Iran. If you want, I can bring it up again just as a reminder of what was said. So, after the thing with Russians going down through all those countries, and there comes my cat, sorry. And what's going to happen with Russia and Turkey, and what's going to happen with Russia and Europe, and especially the Scandinavian countries, as mentioned here. But number 3 phase says that Russia will go down south to help their Arab allies, as I said, especially the Iranians, who will be attacked by the Americans. It doesn't say the Israelis, it says the Americans. The Americans will have captured the coastal zone of Iran after a fierce struggle, but they will not be able to advance inside the country because of the great resistance they will receive. So here we go again. We're looking at this happening soon. It sure feels like it, doesn't it? The Russians will sweep across Persia and destroy the American forces in the east. So, we have a few things we're looking for. And we're looking for that second strike, part 2 of the attack on Iran from America, and then what Russia has to do with regard to, of course, the regime change in Turkey and all this stuff. So there's a lot of things happening. And then, as you know, the Ukraine-Russia war is going to wrap up here because Elder Jonah had said that it would be for 3 Paschas, which means 3 Easters, so 3 years, and this is the 3rd year. And we see that things have really heated up on that. So, as you saw, Russia is really pounding Ukraine, so it's gotten a bit more intense the past several weeks. So we will see what happens, but this is what we're looking at as far as the prophecies go. We're keeping an eye out of these particular things happening, and so that's what I wanted to share with you in this episode. Thanks so much for watching. I always thank you for your interesting, thoughtful, kind comments, and I thank you for your support of my channel, and I will be back later. Until next time.